Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Capital One Shopping. Capital One Shopping is a simple and free way to save money online. Add Capital One Shopping to your browser. It's free. It just takes seconds. So how does it work? Capital One Shopping searches for a better price while you shop across thousands of stores like Target, Walmart, Apple, and lots more. And then available coupons are applied to your cart at checkout. So here's a couple examples. I was shopping Crocs looking for kids shoes and Capital One Shopping pops up and says that I can save $8. And then I was shopping for Death Cab for Cutie concert tickets on SeatGeek and Capital One Shopping popped up and said that I could save $10. Try it for yourself by clicking the link down below or head over to CapitalOneShopping.com/emmymade and add it to your favorite browser. That's CapitalOneShopping.com/emmymade. Big thanks to Capital One Shopping for sponsoring this video and allowing me to make better videos for all of you. Alrighty, my lovelies, today we are going to be making glass bread. Isn't that a great name? Glass bread, otherwise known as Pan de Cristal. It comes from the Catalonia region of Spain, España, and this bread looks so beautiful. I am very intrigued by a name. Isn't that amazing how much a name can make you curious about a recipe or a food? But this technique looks very interesting. First of all, the dough is a 1-to-1 ratio of flour to water. So it's a 100% hydrated dough, which I've never made before. And what does that mean? Essentially, the dough is going to look like a batter, at least initially. But over time, the gluten is still going to develop and we're going to make this batter into a type of slipper bread. It's going to look a little bit like a ciabatta, but this one comes from Spain. Ciabatta comes from Italy, but we're all relatives in the sense that we're bread family, right? But this bread is supposed to be shatteringly crisp and have big holes on the inside. Blah, what more do we ask for? Crystal bread, glass bread, crispy exterior, bready in the middle, big holes, sold. So that's what we're going to be making today. The recipe that I'm adapting today comes from King Arthur flour. I think every single recipe I've done through King Arthur flour has not failed me. They've always worked. Love them. So I'll put a link down below to the original video and recipe. So let's go ahead and get started. I've said this many times before, when it comes to baking, precision is your friend and a scale is really great for that. Let's use this bowl. I picked this up at the thrift store for $4.99 because I broke my other large glass bowl. This is an old Pyrex bowl with this great, I think, daisy detailing on it. Don't know how old it is, but I like it because it's big. That's a new thing I've been working on. Go for the bigger bowl, Emmy. Bigger bowl, because I always go for the smaller bowl and then it's hard to stir. You know what I'm talking about. We're gonna get some bread flour, salt, using kosher here, and instant yeast. Boop. Finally, our warmed water. Bloop, 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 bloop. We're just gonna mix this. Look how much water is in there. That is a wet batter. I've been assured that this will turn into bread. I think given enough time, the gluten, the protein that's in the flour, will still develop. That's what gives it that beautiful chew in bread and gives us those great big holes. Okay, so we are incorporated. Kids Incorporated. Okay. Got a 9x9 brownie pan. Give it a couple good glugs of olive oil. And apparently the square form does have some importance because when we do the last steps of this bread, we want to have somewhat of a square in dimensions, the finished dough. Pour the batter into the pan. It flows. It's totally a batter. Incredible. And now we're going to cover this. Now we're going to let this rest for 20 minutes before we do our first fold. This recipe requires folds that we're going to do over a period of time after letting the dough rest. There's no kneading to this dough, technically, none of this, which I really actually love, but that's another reason why I'm very intrigued by this recipe. Righty lovelies, 20 minutes have elapsed and this is what the dough looks like. Still very wet looking. This is called the bowl fold. What we're gonna do is get our hands nice and wet. This dough is gonna be very sticky and we're gonna just draw up the dough into the middle and then give it a flip. So, oh, look at that. It's so wet. Get under there and scoop it. Draw it up. And this will turn into a manageable dough by the end of this. This is so luscious. Look at that. A few times. We're going to flip this whole thing so that the drawn part is on the bottom. Bloop. Tuck everything under. And rest it for another 20 minutes. And now we're going to do our first coil fold. What we're going to do is lift this dough up till we get it all the way out of the pan. Look at that. Oh, it tore. I don't think we're supposed to tear it, but that's all right. We're going to draw it back up. It definitely doesn't have its stretch yet. Lift it up and then fold it over itself. Quarter turn. Lift it up and fold it on itself. So now we're going to let this rest another 20 minutes. Then we'll repeat this. We'll lift the dough up and out of the pan, fold it over itself, give the pan a 90-degree turn, lift the dough up again, fold it over itself. And that is one coil turn. So we're going to do that 3 more times. 20 minutes of waiting between each time. Here is my beautiful dough. Look how gorgeous this is. It's just brimming over the top. Look how gorgeous and jiggly it is. And then this has rested for an additional 80 minutes. Now we are going to shape the loaves. And make sure you wear dark clothing so that when you get flour everywhere, it shows up really nicely on your clothing. Or you can wear an apron, but I've never really been an apron person. I just haven't. Generously flour our countertop. Then we're gonna take our precious dough and we're just gonna dump it out onto the surface. Really? Ready? Here we go. And it should come out pretty easily. Oops, it stuck a little bit on that side. Wow. What a mass. It's so gorgeous, I love it. Use the flour from the countertop to kind of work with us. And that will kind of rein in the shape a bit. And we're going to generously dust the top. Just pretty much cover it. Now we're going to divide this in quarters. All the way down. Oof. Make sure you cut it all the way through. That's our bread. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna let this rest and rise for another 2 hours. Not covered, just like this. So we'll know when the dough is ready to be baked when we see large bubbles on the surface of the dough and it looks nice and inflated. And then we'll bake it in a preheated oven. What's the temp? 475-degree oven, very, very hot. And this recipe works best if you've got a baking steel or a pizza stone in your oven. It really needs that immediate heat. Then after 15 minutes, take it off and then place it directly on a rack in the oven for an additional 13 to 15 minutes. And that's it for the baking time. Alrighty, lovelies, I'll see you in a little bit. Ooh la la. Alrighty, my lovelies, I'm back. This project has taken many hours. Yeah, it's night out, it's dark, we've already had dinner, and now my bread is finished. I am so grateful because I think the bread turned out beautifully, but now we're gonna taste it and make sure. But pretty dark. But they sound beautifully hollow. Hear that? So let's give them a slice because I really want to see the crumb structure inside. So Pan de Cristal means crystal bread or glass bread, so it should be really crispy on the outside and have great big holes. So let's see how we did. Sounding great. Let's see how we did with the crumb structure. Here we go. Looks beautiful. Look at that. Great big holes. Yay! It totally worked. How beautiful is that? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Yay! King Arthur flour has not let me down. Again, look. Beautiful. And the crust is so thin. Oh my gosh, can you hear the rain outside? To get a cross section the other way, let's cut it this way and see what it looks like this way. Oh, that sounds so good. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna try this straight up, no butter, no nothing. Here we go. Itadakimasu. It's fantastic. The crumb is moist and chewy, but it has a gorgeous crust. Can you hear that? The crust on the bottom that touched the really hot steel is a little bit thicker than the top portion, but so crispy. Lovely, nutty, toasted flavor. It's so good. Perfect amount of salt. It's fantastic. Wonderful. Some of the best bread I've ever made. And I'm so glad that it was worth all the effort. And it really isn't that much effort. It's just about remaining on schedule. You can do all these other things at the same time, but I have a sick kid right now. It's Friday. It's a little bit busy. Gotta make dinner. And this bread happened while all that was happening, which is kind of great, but another ball to kind of juggle. So, but a weekend project, yes. Highly recommend doing this for a weekend project. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud and happy and pleased about this recipe. So good. Alrighty, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to Capital One Shopping for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to try it for yourself, please click the link down below or head over to CapitalOneShopping.com/emmymade to add it to your favorite browser and start saving. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye. This is what I would look like if I had bread for a face.